Well, it's an interesting one for sure. The reason that I even started in the direction of communication, I mean, very clear picture. I was probably 11 or 12 years old, and I heard my parents fighting, which was not unusual. My dad had come back from the war with severe PTSD, so I grew up in violence. And so my parents were arguing, and I came upstairs and I was listening to them. And I remember thinking very clearly, I mean, now we have a better analogy. If we're on a computer and we have multiple screens open, and one of them is playing some music or a movie, but we're looking at a different screen and they don't match, that's what I felt I was looking at. I was listening to my parents arguing, but there was a level of emotion, there was a level of heart yearning that was not being expressed. So they had this communication, so to speak, going on, but underneath there was a completely different, not matching world there. And I remember thinking, if they would just talk about what's really going on at the heart level, my words now, not then, but I just knew something wasn't matching. But I thought if they would just really talk about what's up, they wouldn't be arguing. It was so clear for me. And then I thought, well, there has to be a way to do that. So, decades later, literally, I had to do a lot of work. My communication was trained by watching that, right? I had no other role models. So I was a poor communicator. Yelling, I thought, was the way you get people to listen. Like, you get louder, they're going to pay attention. Pay attention, which is true, but you don't get a lot accomplished that way. So through my work, my personal development, my professional development, becoming a mediator, a lot of the trainings in nonviolent communication, I worked for years. I was blessed to work with Natalie Rogers, Carl Rogers' daughter and colleague, in humanistic psychology. I assisted her for years in trainings in Europe. That I came to understand that when we as humans feel heard in our own story, in our inner world, our nervous system's calm, we feel comfortable and safe, really. And then we're in a position to want to share. And then also, if we're the speaker and we help other people feel comfortable, then they're going to hear us better. We have the highest chances of being heard. So that's what's really brought me here to the work that I do, is if I can if I can do what I do today and be the person I am, who I felt I always was prior to some errant training, anybody can, really. Anybody can.